with another edition of Social Media Review. Today, the 19th of April, 2020. And as usual, we get for tell God thank you. We get for tell God thank you for life, because we know this big trouble with when they call coronavirus, COVID-19, where they take the world by storm, where they kill people them, where they take the lives of people them, and the world blanket cover with the blanket of fear. But we come, talk, and let we talk how we get for fix. What we get for fix. What we get for tell with government and for fix. Let people understand how the system they work in a salon and how we supposed for work. If not the right way, for let we able show the government they how for do what they do. But this coronavirus here, we salon sister them inside America. This last week we passed, so we don't get like 4 deaths. Then die of coronavirus, and 3 of them, I believe, say they don't bury them all last week. Then die because they're frontline workers. Most of them are frontline, and some they get espouse them where they work at the front line, and it is not a joke. We all get for take heed to what in the governments they say, what in the experts then they say, when I will not take them as joke. And this is the time, I say again, now the time this for reflect, because it is like everything in the world is stopping at the same time. We see all the problem then there. So but today I get 2 people there with me, or as usual, I get me honorary Professor Kutubu. We go there with me for we rub much about which we can talk about and what they happen at the social media. And we get a guest tonight. We get a very distinguished guest, very honorable man now with society, lawyer Mohammed Shilon. They go can't help we for rub much by the thing that they talk about today, especially the judiciary side of Sierra Leone and how we for work, how we supposed for work. And then we go put 2-3 things the way they happen on social media. We are waiting on your expertise and give advice and thing to government. So before I tell you now any other talk, before we continue, I'll bring in, we guest them. As usual, my co-host, Professor Kutubu. Then he will introduce Mr. Shilon. Mr. Shilon will tell us a small thing. Then we'll go on the update on what thing they happen with coronavirus right now in the salon. So I pass on to you, Professor Kutubu.
Well, obviously, I don't need any introduction, so I might as well just bring in we guest when the distinguished attorney, Mr. Shilon, we in North Carolina. And what thing good about this program tonight? We all 3 get something in common. We all there within the Oku Mohammedan communities. We got Alpha. Now, I know if you said Alpha Mohammed Shilon, Aberdeen person, and he said that the same. He be let God bless him for the good job they do in North Carolina. Let God bless him. Let God bless him. And the mere father, he take in time for the today. Should say yes, indeed. It's a salon in progress. In progress. So, Afami, that's what I get for that near to you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I appreciate the invitation and for joining you, Mr. Kuruma, and Madam Fadima Savage. Thank you very much for inviting me on the program. Of course, as Mr. Kutubu just indicate, I did North Carolina. I did North Carolina for a long time. I don't need to specify how long, but it's been quite a while. And so, as when I already mentioned, me a lawyer down here, and I've been a lawyer for some time. To be precise, I've been a lawyer 44 years in North Carolina. So that gives you some range as to how long I did in America. But be that as it may, I'm glad we get this kind of program where we were able to reach with people them and for spread some of the ideas on what needs to be done back home as well as here. For some of we, as long as we don't leave home, now we body left home, but we hearts not left home, we're still concerned. Because they enjoy the goodness of America, we wish people can enjoy some of that goodness there. Because some of we can not be can for spend all the years we would spend. We can forget what you can for, when education, take that goodness, they go back home and improve the lives of the people then. Not till we all get political ambition. Me as a lawyer, my primary concern, I forget an efficient legal system in Australia.
Good.
I forget what we don't learn in America over the years for see if we can implement just a little bit of that, life could be greatly improved for everybody. The legal profession, I want people them to know, they're not calling the noble profession for nothing. The nobility of the profession is because that the only profession that touches the lives of all aspects of society, economics, engineering, you name it. The legal profession, now in at the base, now in the try for make we interact towards each other, with each other, now in the set with standard of behavior, now in the tell we when and how we for cross streets. So the profession is a great profession. It's a profession that I love. But, you know, how for transfer some of the values, the standard, you know, the goodness of that, the profession back home has always been a challenge. So I will hope maybe I could get some good questions them, because I don't want for just lecture people them about what we need for do. But the profession back home, the what and to do and what you know to do is very disappointing. So I don't want for sound like a critic, because Englishman or American man say talk is cheap. So I don't want for just take cheap shots at the system. But for people like we, because like me, so all the years I practiced law now, I've been a trial attorney, you know, meaning courtroom attorney. Now, presently, I'm mostly immigration and accident cases they had to do. But in the early years as a young lawyer, I've been a courtroom all the time. I have to do criminal cases. I have to do litigation in civil cases. So I get quite a bit of experience in terms of trial work. Some of the ideas, if we can just get it across back home, we will be very, very, very up to something. So if Mr. Kutubu, if you have any question per se, I'll be more than happy to answer it, because
we'll get to the by God power after you don't do the first rounds. Then hopefully we'll get to the legal part. So for back to you for the opening.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Shilon. Thank you, Shilon. We're glad we will get you now. Yeah, like Unado Yeria don't say you get a wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience, and we want for tap into them, because like we can always say, I mean, we are stuck in these countries, brain drain, we get good people them. We're stuck in that country, so and all over the diaspora. We want for go give back, but the system not work the way we're supposed to work. This is the reason, this is the frustration on a lot of people. Some people then can go, they return back because the system is not working, and when you try for go fix them, there are many problems. But let we go first to the corona updates in Salone. We see this week here, so the updates is very, very alarming, because the number then go up to 35 people them don't get coronavirus now in Salone, according to the Ministry of Information, when the government spokesman where they put up on their website, where they say on Facebook, they say we don't get 35 people them, you get 2 na Kenema, 5 na Putloko, 1 na Tonkolili, 5 na Western Rural, and 22 na Western Urban area. And this, we don't see the campaign where the government they try for put in place, but you know, the social distancing, we don't see the 3 days lockdown. Now we get the partial lockdown. We don't see a lot of people them, they go out there and sensitize the people. We see the NGC, they make commercial them, then go out there, they give buckets. We see the mayor of Freetown, they give buckets. We see other different people them, then they help for try for cut down this sick in our community. But we get problem. We get problem with social distancing, especially now we market areas, especially now we waiting and call. We get for take them serious. With people where they free tongue, we not get for take this thing serious. We where they America, we get for take this thing serious because, like I say, we get young, vibrant people that will die this week, all due to Corona. Sierra Leoneans, them frontline medical personnel, them in whatever way. Some of them are their spouse, them personnel, them. You know, we don't see that day. And we see Salone now don't go to 35, and they say most of it now health workers. And there's a video we're not going to show because we not get rights to the video. It come up from Washington Post, where they do on Easter Sunday, they do a conference call, a video conference, a Zoom conference call with doctors in Sierra Leone, nurses in Sierra Leone, and then we say they go do another one this week. The doctors from Baltimore Hospital then come together for teach Sierra Leoneans because we don't get the equipment them. Because in the video, when I go on Washington Post page or whatever, when I search for that video, the doctors helping in Sierra Leone, zooming in Sierra Leone. When I go see the video, when they talk on Sierra Leone only get 13 ventilators, then get 2 anesthesiologists. Then they one day where they give anesthesia for they sleep. They say the one day in quarantine and the other one gets stroke. So we get them doctor, yeah, God bless them. Where them people are in their own case where they defect now, yeah, but they still get time for help with people then at Salone. Then they show the doctor they have for do intubation, that now for put something inside for help for let the person go they breathe because we not get them training them. And I then here we they talk about every day say we get for hold with government. The past governments they don't pass. We not they deal with them now. Now the one that we in a power and the one to come, we get for all they say we not get for fix waiting broken for now we not go able then babala disaster how they come so we go able be self-sufficient for take care of we say God bless the doctors of waiting and call. And also we read and say last week I mean forget for measure than they we get citizens in Sierra Leone where they give up them boats them. Then they buy gas for themselves, then they give for try for patrol the border, them let people they not cross illegally from Guinea and Liberia for car inside. So then give up them boats, all down the citizens, then they do their own. We been see one woman we been Canada we show Madam Aisata Kamara. If they do well, we get other young people them where they give, you know, that they do well, then they play them parts. And we say for Sierra Leone and they will get for play with parts. But we still see some, you know, police brutality. We see where the army, you know, them beats people, them will see the army take strict disciplinary action against the army man, then they will beat somebody in a street. But we not hear yet from the police then. We not hear yet from the police chief. We not hear yet what thing that they do. They hear small talk them, when they say the police then still they become violent to the waiting and call them. We serve as citizens, we get for your reward. We cannot go out there because I watch now one lawyer in page in a free tongue where they talk say in area outside they say coffee order day, but people and they play loud music, then they make patina their host. We get for follow orders, we get for follow the rule. Because if we want let government work, we self get for do we part as citizens of Sierra Leone. So I don't that day I get today for when they call let we all do what we do, let we all do what we able to do for try for it because coronavirus is real. It is here and it is here to stay for a long time, just like where any other sick for when they call. Right now, they're not able to find good medicine for yet, they not get vaccine yet. And with the Yeri said, and they go try for test vaccine them, but with people them. With they tell with people that say, if they tell you say they want to give corona vaccine no day yet, let we all help for sensitize with people them, let them not go use them as guinea pig. So Professor Ola pass on to you, so you get any theory you want add by the corona, they will go allow Mr. Shilon, so tell him get small thing, where we want to tell with people them, and let we do what in the government say let we wear we mask. When we wear a mask, let we cover we face and we nose. And we mouth and we nose. Let the mask cover because when you they talk, the pits they come out. When you they breathe, somebody in your pit, you know one breathe and go inside your nose. we for cover with face and with nose, we for wash we hand with soap. It get the, the things that we then tell we for do. And all that then are the guideline, let professor they talk while and they show them guideline and they waiting the government expect we for do. Let we practice social distance, left that gladdy and get together. But who tell them for get together? Because right now we get. And if you wash your hand for me, you do all them things and you do one for me. Myself, if I do one for you, because now you they give me and me they give you this sick. So Professor, I bring you, let yourself rub more, then you pass out to Mr. Shilon, so then get small advice, then we go to the next topic.
Thank you. I endorse everything we talk, so I'll just pass out to Mr. Shilon. Let's see what you will add to that.
Well, the only thing we get for add, first of all, I'm married to someone within the health profession, a nurse. So using me as an example, she's always after me for my mask, and then always chastising me if I kind of fail for do any of that. So just like us, our Ms. Fadima said, we get for follow the rules. If they say for wash my hand, for example, I've never in my life washed my hands as much as I don't wash my hand the past 1 or 2 months. But that's because that's what they say we for do. The problem about back home, I mean, to them, unlike we now, they get so much challenges because of the high rate of poverty, the high rate of unemployment, the extreme shortage of housing. A lot of people live on the street, and a lot of people then are hustled and they hustle. Then way back home, they get the slang, then a drag man. Mm-hmm. So if you put yourself in the place of them people, then it's so difficult for comply. So, but the government, now then job that those are the challenges who people then face. The one they want to go home, say they want to run government, they need to realize, say, it's not as easy as it looks. Mm-hmm. Because we're not accustomed to following rules and regulations as much as the people in I am. Because they're born into a certain structure we try to put in place. But because of the economic situation, sometimes because of cultural background, we're not that disciplined for put a lot of practice, a lot of them thing here. So I think the government back home forget public service announcements quite regularly in all the spoken languages them back home, emphasizing to them, which they may already be doing that, but let them know this thing not get boundary. If they attack poor man, if they attack rich man, if they attack man who educate, somebody who illiterate. So they need to know that. But that these are some of the things government can do for educate the masses, for tell them, say, look, this is dangerous. Well, we all know who were there in this country for a while. We've never seen anything like this. Mm-hmm. No, if anybody be tell, we say, we go, but so many things, the irony about life for the past 20 years, we've seen things that we never dreamed will ever happen. Right. Nobody will have thought America could get a black president, but it happened in our lifetime. In our lifetime, we don't see the invention of the internet. In our lifetime, we don't see the invention of cell phone. These are dramatic changes in the life of people. So now we get this challenge about corona disease. We shut down the entire country, the entire system, different nations. So we're beginning to, this is another challenge. But unfortunately for we, then they just tell we say, try for keep your distance, wash your hands as frequently as you can, and put on your mask. But again, you take like Salone. How many people can get masks? How many people can afford them? These are some of the challenges then. So sometimes I feel for them, but we just get to do the best we can from here. And this is, when a program is, to me, I admire a lot, because this is as much as we can able for help with people then back home, for beam some of the information back. Let them know, say some of who in here, despite the so-called perceived good life where we live, even though it's not real, but let them know, say we still think about them. We don't forget them. So that's all I can able to say now.
That is a good advice, advice. But now we come to another topic. We come to the main topic today. We ask, say, the three branches of government. We don't hear the three branches of government. We don't hear here. We don't do a civics class. They don't teach. We say we get the executive, we get the legislative, and we get the judiciary. But we don't look, say, Salone inside Salone. Then branches, then everybody, every order, it's like they're not separated. It's like the executive, now they run all then three branches, then they. And who done at the government of the day, that person with that man will sit on at that chair as the president. Now they call the shots. Now so it look like parliaments, they can just send things then to them. They know they think, they know they take time, then they rush just for please the person where they in the state house for that day. And then they're dangerous. The judiciary back, we don't see it don't broken. We don't see corruption inside there. We don't see people them. They know they do their work. Now, Uda gently or Uda you sabi. Now, by that side you get judgment. And all them things they together. Them pandemic here with they like corona with this so now. How for make them three government they are. Then be separate but work together for the good of the whole, for the good of the country. We don't see. So I wonder we play a tape because we get the couple of weeks ago, the president's request said they want state of emergency. Then can go do the presentation at the parliament. The parliament rush into decisions without making all and thinking say. Something else get for come up behind it, but that moment it's like they all bring them, then forget say they approve them, even though they ask say, okay, well, maybe una go get for come back in 2 weeks, they answer yes, but then una go sign it, una not make the clause right, una not put the stuff right, una rush, una give. Instead of them, if you don't add all them jetty, they wait them for don't add inside that thing they forgive, they don't give them, then give the rights to the president. Now the president don't use them. In don't pull in now, if they do without going to the parliament, and then there's a confusion. We hear opposition leader them, and we will play the video for una hear them when they talk, when they oppose. That's why we get a lawyer here today. We will help we for understand what's in this problem, who side the mistake there, and how we for move forward. Then also. When we don't done that side, we'll get forward much back again. Because on social media, because this is social media review, we see a problem with the mayor and the ministry or minister of lands. Then problem we wouldn't get. We see how people and they take law into their own hands without the right going through the right procedure on the right channel, and we don't see a lot of time. Then they disrespect the mayor. This is how we call it. It's like. They're not regarding office. They don't understand what's in the mayor on the role of the mayor on a Freetown. But yet we see time and time again ministers them of the executive branch where then they go misbehave. And these people are not getting punished or reprimanded for the behaviors. And time after time again, it's like repeatedly these same people doing things that they're not supposed to do, but they are not accountable. Accountability in Salone is very important. We go get for Rob Motsday. So, Professor, I'll pass on to you, sir. Let you self add and let you take we to Usha one for go today.
Thank you. Well, which means they do be they lay out the templates. They are bring the distinguished attorney in. And they do it in the context of course, I know say it relates to the fact say in the 16th century, people I know say you know something about Mr. John Locke. As well as Montesquieu or Charles the Secondant, you know, the people they the great French jurists. They sit down, they look just at the history of this separation of army, a tripartite government that they bring now, so that the distinguished attorney will come in. They sit down, they look, they say, look, one, you know, the past, the way they king naming get to be too much. So they decide, say, no, what we need for break them down. We will get one branch with their own job now for make laws them. So now they call parliament. From the French word parler, I speak. There you get parliament, I mean the institution itself. You get a parliament. With their own job, the only thing what they get for do now for make the laws, because any nation where he say we a nation, that the ethic, that the foundation, that the basis of any society. Now, when una soon set as place where governed by the fundamental edifice of the rule of law, and so the parliament and your job there for you. Then you get a group of guys and they your job now for carrying out this job every day. That law will they not make for day to day for me to say these laws are carried out faithfully in harmony with the legitimate aspirations of the citizenry. They get another thought, but should in case no say I get problem with my brother, Mr. Salone, I get problem with him. Instead of me to begin to go boss, we get one side where they go resolve this. And the other people, then the only thing they do, then they go back to that book and look, true. That's what the law say now. The law say, when you get problem with somebody, you know they go bone to bone, they go for they can't hear. They bring una case dialogue, look at. Would that wrong? We make it according to this your book. Then your job not to for make law, that for interpret everything what we write in the book. So the fundamental question what they try to what that today help me out now with the premise where I don't lay out so. I want to with what I tell you now, if we actually the citizens and waiting responsible for the misgovernance in Salone to the point that one man, when I say one man, he appears to Madam Fadima lady. Now only the president. We do have a parliament, we do have a judicial system, but the only person where they inside this equation also ordinated at the president. So I mean, Mr. Salone, you can walk me through, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, here is my take on this. The problem where we get, and it's so disappointing, after over 50 years of independence, what we find ourselves to do now, what I would describe as the Michael Jackson shuffle. That is, you appear to be going forward, but in a backward way to go. All the values, because me and one person will take the position that the Europeans or the British people are left with certain strong, concrete structure in place. And if we had taken off, side and left off, we would have been way ahead of so many countries in this time of our lives. Let us not forget, say, about 30, 40 years ago, you get country about 40 years ago, you get countries like United Arab Emirates, then Dubai, then President Day. Paved street that they didn't even have. When we Australians, we had those stuff. We get airlines. We get the first double-decker bus in Africa.
Yeah.
There are so many things where we are the first, because they were testing so many things. Some things we will take for granted. Things like street address. You will be amazed how many African countries don't even have street address. The houses are not numbered. And this go for Kenya. It go for Ghana, as advanced as they are. When you tell people and say sometimes even we'll get mailman them to deliver mail now host to host. There are Africans who are shocked and say, what? Okay, now going into the law. A lot of times people tend to forget, say, America, now a common law country with the exception of Louisiana, that once used to be owned by the French, where they established civil code. The basic law of the United States, now the British common law, and the heritage down there. So, but the disappointing thing is, we ourselves have not tried for modify the laws them for suit with circumstances. We're not trying for do what we need for do, for make sure, say, the laws are faithfully executed with the which man left. And then when we get independence, this is where the mix-up comes. The system of law and the practice of law was all 100% the common law. Then when we move from that to become independent, we set up a constitution. Then we become a constitutional government, which is quite the opposite of a common law practice. So now with the difficulty we'll get back home, we're still having difficulty adjusting to these three branches of government, even though some political scientists then will say now are 4 branches, and then at the
press,
news media, you know, the press. So it's arguable whether there are 4 branches or 3 branches, but there are 3 recognized branches. But how do we have then 3 branches here for work, coexist for the good of the country? And this is where the balancing act comes into play. Because we judges them back home are appointed by the president, and it appears that a lot of them serve at the pleasure of the president.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody seems to have what it takes to come up with sound legal decisions then. And besides, the legal system need a lot of work. It need a lot of work. For example, we get Chief Justice, but with Chief Justice, we not get a standing Supreme Court as such. Like here, where you get 9 judges, then Supreme Court justices, not so back home.
No.
The Chief Justice, 9 ahead of the Supreme Court. Then the Chief Justice also sits on the Court of Appeals. Then the Chief Justice can also call a trial judge, somebody we're not in a Court of Appeals, we're not in the Supreme Court, for sit on an appellate case. So these are structural deficits where we need for really go back and establish a full-fledged Supreme Court.
Okay, just a second. Okay. I want to inject the Magna Carta inside this here and see how that, factor into, we being a nation of law. I want to inject the Magna Carta.
Well, it goes back to the British tradition again, because the thing when we keep the Magna Carta, the thing I keep telling people, everything is based on the fundamental rule of law. Everything in this country, in the United States of America, let me not forget, say, the original 13 American colonies from Maine all the way down to North Carolina. If the earlier laws were exactly designed or derived from the Magna Carta. So when we established this, when they established the system now, they already knew what they were going to do, but they were not going to practice or introduce the system of laws as they had it in England. For example, everything we inherit back from the British, now so is still there. Nothing has been modified for suit we own, culture, we own circumstance, what the country needed. You take the Americans then, even though these were originally, most of them, British people, but they saw the need for modification. They saw the need to change. They come up with a system for the first time. Let me not forget, say, now America first come up with a constitutional system of government.
Hold it right there. Fatima, I want to ask them, we attorney, ask him any question with you.
I want bring the case where we get gone. Let it talk on that day, because we see that video. I want to watch that video where we want for make it bring an insight. Like can give we intake on what happened, what is he wrong, and how we see him. Exactly. And I think because it gets 40 years or more of experience, courtroom lawyer, not only classroom lawyer or now what they call it, then at the court, he active, they see how the thing they work. So let we play that video on the parliament issue. Then hold on, we'll go ask Mr. Shilon. Let Mr. Shilon give in his own day. Because what we see, if we parliament, they work for the people of Sierra Leone. Now, then the question we don't ask so many times is the parliament for the people. So let's put that video
Technical team, let them put that video.
Technical team puts that
In an unprecedented unanimity, members of parliament on 26th March approved President Bio's declaration of state of public emergency, but however agreed that rules and regulations as provided for by law be presented to the same parliament for a debate. A commitment to present the documents in 2 weeks' time was made by the Deputy Justice Minister, Umaru Napoleon Kuruma. But the opposition members of parliament say government has reneged on that promise.
Was an agreed motion amongst all of us that in 14 days the regulations will be brought to Parliament. Yeah, that was a clear commitment from all of us, an understanding, and we used that agreement to convince our political parties to give full unanimous support to the state of emergency, and we have not backed off from that. We're fully supportive of the state of emergency. We're just saying, look, let's take the next step, the next legal step that is required to enshrine these measures now into a legislation.
During last week's presidential press briefing at State House, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Priscilla Schwartz, did not only say the rules and regulations that are being enforced are legally binding, she also said they have been consulting with Parliament.
Like I just said, the regulations and what we make, then they enforce and they're valid and they're applicable. The law allow His Excellency the President, and then one way you don't empower under this emergency for make such regulations, rules and others for 90 days before it go na Parliament. What to make it go na Parliament? If we seek for extend that regulation, order or rule where we don't make beyond 90 days, now we compare for Krango na Parliament. Every regulation where they make, order a rule, we they share them with the leadership of Parliament for consultation so that they are aware what we they make.
Opposition All People's Congress leader in Parliament, Honorable Chairman Obas, said they are looking forward to receive and debate the rules and regulations from the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, as was agreed.
Well, forwarding them does not mean consultations. He tried to inform me, and the conversations we had are very clear. He knows them, and my position still remains the same. Section 29 is very clear. Even when you go to Section 25, Section 29, sorry, 5, it is only the President that is empowered under 29 to make regulations, and it is pursuant to those regulations that will have been approved by Parliament. Persons or authorities will be empowered to make orders and rules under 2910. So if you go to section 177, 29 is part of the Constitution, and 177 is telling you that whoever the person is or whatever the authority is, when you make rules, orders and regulations, you must comply with 177. When you read 29 from the start to the end, there is nowhere in 29 where you will say either directly or indirectly 170 has been excluded. It has not been expressed, nor has it been insinuated. Nowhere under Section 29.
Both Honorable Kande Yunkela and Honorable Chengnoba of the opposition say their concerns are on how to guide the president and ensure that the fight against COVID-19 is done under a legal atmosphere. Efforts to get the side of members of parliament of the SLPP proved futile at the time of putting these reports together. Joseph Johnson, AYV News, Freetown.
Lawyer Salone, I want to bring you
it, Doc.
Because we don't hear what they say. They say the parliament we don't agree, or they all one voice. Then say yes, let them give the president the rights. And then now they say them promise say they go come back in 2 weeks. Did they make a mistake right there for allow them say them for come back in 2 weeks, or then for we don't do all thing inside before they allow the president for make the state of emergency? So that pass on to you, sir, because you're not a lawyer, you shall be pass me, let you tell me what you think.
Well, procedurally, I'm surprised they did that, because first of all, let's step backward. A state of emergency was not even necessary to be declared, because Sierra Leone was not under any invasion, were not there under any civil unrest. you know, there was nothing of an emergency nature that required a state of emergency. So procedurally, the parliament, I don't know how they come up with that, but you don't entrust power in the hands of one side, particularly the president, and turn around and say, oh, we'll be promised. When I say we will meet back 2 weeks later. The interesting thing about that, well, where is that recorded? Nobody has come up with any, or I haven't seen any kind of, they all doesn't say that they agree on, but how can parliament and the executive meet and agree on something? Nothing is written down, nothing is videotaped, and nothing to fall back on. Now, this is where a strong judiciary comes into play.
Exactly.
Because that's what the judiciary is there for.
Yeah.
When there is a dispute between the legislature and the executive, the judiciary is the final arbiter. I thank you for coming, but there should be strong laws, there should be safeguards. We forget judges, then we get the courage of their conviction,
and
so
the
they can
integrity also,
without fear of any repercussion.
So then, Mr. Salone, let me come in, sir. So you tell we say we parliament's rights now not work for we. They not work for the rights of the people because now they don't hand over power, and then there was no legal paper binding because word can talk, but you get for right time in writing. So therefore, with parliament them, they rush to judgment without thinking of what thing will come after, and then say now they don't fail we the people, because forgive somebody a one person for a whole year. 1 year is 12 months. 12 months is a long time. So then people can do anything inside there without the parliament not get power again for take them back waiting that we don't give the president. So they're not going able for withdraw and say we take back the thing because it don't become law, then cannot go for rectify them and bring her in back again, sir.
There is a reason why the law recognizes or encourages people for reduce any agreement into writing. Even though the law recognizes oral agreement, but you run into evidentiary problem. If you say one thing, if me say I can't just know, you interpret it one way, and not to say maybe me now, we can get serious disagreement over it.
Yes, sir.
And so there was no meeting of the minds. From a contractual standpoint, the executive say, we understand one thing. We believe say the deal was over. When I don't give me the power. So waiting at this thing now, we want to come back and say, oh, that will be say we will meet one. And it's such an awkward procedure. How you go delegate power, such as an emergency power to the president, then they want to attach a caveat to and say, but we'll go meet 1 week later and do some adjustment.
2 weeks
you know, that should have been part of the negotiating process before they give them the power. So I think the president is on the right side. That's not my opinion now and then.
So in other words,
even though I think it's very dangerous, I don't think the people.
So in other words, they put the cat before the horse. Parliament them puts the cat before the horse. They should have negotiated everything in there, or have it in writing. Say when I go and come back in 2 weeks, because what is legal and binding is signed with signatory waiting and call and witness.
What I'm not aware of,
Mr. Salone, even that's safe. I think before don't call the Attorney General. I'm sure you agree with me. Say the Attorney General should have been called under, then grill the Attorney General and make sure that all of those provisions are in there before they give the demand. Don't they create not to after. So they didn't make any use of the Attorney General when under the Chief Law Enforcement Officer. This is where again we are, I they call them in a duty, they are like in a duty. They left the Attorney General for walk away free. And then you call the president back.
And another thing, this also we say the need for adjust the governmental structure and that. Maybe Parliament need for get Office of Legal Counsel. I don't know if they do.
Yes.
We'll forgive them legal advice. We know the parliamentarians them. for make that decision. They wait and get idea, then for run by the Office of Legal Counsel, independent of the Attorney General's office, because the Attorney General is not part of the executive branch. And so if they get their own parliamentary Office of Legal Counsel, obviously that lawyer, they will have told them, or that counsel, they would have told them, hold off, let me finalize this thing before we put it into effect.
Exactly.
You know, so
but then, sir, I don't want to interrupt, but let me come in for a second. You said they need legal counsel, and some of these people are lawyers. Like Shei Koko is a lawyer, right? He is a lawyer, and some of these people are law students or lawyers, but yet they allow this to happen. How could they do it? It's above me.
Well, let me tell you again. This goes back to a system.
Okay.
Because we believe, say, if you're not a lawyer, no mean you know all the law.
Well,
if you're not a lawyer, no mean you're not a contract lawyer. The law is a very wide area. It gets variety of specializations, you know. So, but this is not the misleading thing we would do back home. Because if you're a doctor, you know all the medicine. If you're a lawyer, you know everything. It's about time we begin to accept the fact that lawyers don't know it all. Now, this is one of the reasons why we get a constitution that was put together by people, most, if not all of whom, never took a class in constitutional law.
Exactly.
Then just go. Because they are lawyers, they assume, say, they should know how to write a constitution. There's a reason why a country like America, you get specialization in constitutional law. You get specialization in contract law. You get specialization in antitrust law. They jumble all of that together and everybody the posture. I think it's about time with people in back home, like the parliamentarians, then you mentioned just not saying a lawyer, with no disrespect, and I'm sure they are. But law is like everything else. It's a knowledge that is not with you all the time. If you don't practice it, you lose grounds. You know, you have to be in the game. So some of them parliamentarians and they were a lawyer, they may not have read law books in a year or 2 or 3. And what they learned in law school doesn't stick with you all through your life.
Wow.
You see, and we back again, this is not some of the values that we may want for Sigo and Salone. Lawyers in this country, doctors in this country, nurses in this country, accountants in this country, we are required in all 50 states to take continuing education. Just because you get a degree there and you get a license there, not necessarily you don't learn all the book. You don't learn all the law. So we are required every year, like in the state of North Carolina, you get 12 hours of continuing education. And on that 12 hours, they emphasize ethics. You must get at least 2 hours of ethics because that is the fundamental glue we hold the profession together.
Exactly.
Because if there is no ethics, then people tend to go off course, you know? So we not get continuing education. People go back home, they study medicine, they study law, they study engineering, all the disciplines here require a continuing education. We don't even have that. We're not interested in that. We're not introduced that. So this is what it takes to develop the system. You know, Parliament, what the mistake what Parliament makes so now. Now, America, when people when you win a congressional election, most of the people, then they go to the Kennedy School of Government.
Yes.
Then they go take a crash course.
Yes.
Which is their responsibility.
Exactly.
Now, Congress, how for legislate? We don't get nothing like that. Where you win election, you go to Parliament, then you begin for grandstand.
Yeah.
But you can't blame them. We will say we don't learn some of this book. Now we go back and begin to introduce ideas.
Yes.
You know, let people know say there are better ways, but we don't do that. And that will lead to all this kind of thing.
Lawyer Shilon, you say for go back and introduce ideas. You get a lot of people that do go back, but then they come back frustrated because the system is corrupt. The system, they will squeeze you, or if you not join them, if they're not corrupt you, if they don't get you corrupted, then they will squeeze the life out of you and frustrate you and go out. Now we bring another thing where happened this week on social media, we will see concerning the mayor and the minister of lands. Abuse of power in me words, disrespect to, and nobody don't know the rights and don't know how the procedure they go. I wonder we put the video up where we see there was a site, there was a building contract going on. There was a sign there, FCC and the partner when they do the work with. Okay, something happened along the way. The mayor don't prepare the paperwork. He passed on the paperwork to in one of the office clerk, the admin. The admin dropped the ball. They did not take the paper to Minister of Works. Okay, now Minister of Lands can find out, say they are building and they're putting up a structure somewhere on Jomo Kenyatta Road. What they did was came there and started demolishing everything. And is there not a procedure that you go through if building they go? Kutumuna bring you first, then you pass on to Lawyer Shilon.
Well, okay.
Is there not a procedure when a building code with all the codes? Don't we have those things in our books? How forgo if even you see somebody don't violate or whatever, and like the mayor say, I was expecting a courtesy call. Say, hey, I see this and this, but they did not do that. They just go right to the judiciary, they hold, because if I could understand, now the courts go get for go, where they don't go through all the procedure, where professor go talk, now the courts forgo, they forgo to, where the courts forgive right, but they forgo through procedure, we not just they take one thing. Now a whole bunch of money don't go to waste because they were building to develop Freetown, but yet a minister, we don't do so many of those behaviors where people don't complain of this land and all this problem where they get along. It is like he's getting out of control and stepping into other people their role where then they do. So Professor, pass on to you, then you then you go to Mr. Shilon. And then let me listen to the video before we give Mr. Shilon time for answers.
Good, thanks. Mr. Shilon. In fact, before we even answer that question, we, watching our lay, you help me within the lenses of how we see the corner. Waiting at the recommendation, we wait in our way if you say what we for make sure say with judiciary, don't say you agree with me, with judiciary or anywhere that is there, neither the bastion for the constitutional liberties of the citizens, that anywhere that is there, the judiciary. When everything else fails, the judiciary cannot afford for fail people. But me and and when we look at how exponentially with judicial system bad off here, cases they languish in court, years upon years. And me and say we get this, me and you get the philosophy say justice delayed, not justice denied. I should say you will agree with me. We get all the the professional misconduct. Waiting at the recommendation we will come up with for giving us assure the citizens say indeed they go able to rely on the judiciary because, like I could say, the judiciary the final analysis. Then at the bastion of a constitutional liberty, whatever we do, we for be able to get recourse to judgment, for be able to go in a court, the matters will be properly litigated, and we will be assured of justice. We want to answer that within the context of which Farima and all layout, the tussle between the mayor and the minister.
Can you just listen to the video real quick? It's a 2-minute short video. Sure. Let it listen, and so sometimes not been watch let we get a chance for watch then it can go on with Let me do the video on the mayor, when the mayor going at the scene and waiting the mayor talk. Let me go with that video, please.
Okay.
Came site and informed the contractor that they had until 4 o'clock today to produce a piece of paper signed by the ministry. Now, bearing in mind the whole process that we'd gone through, we were really surprised. We quickly put together a letter, which I was going to get to the minister before 4 o'clock today, explaining to him the whole sequence of events. We didn't have a chance to do that because before 4 o'clock, he was already here and the damage that you can see was done. I've been made to understand subsequently that after we were given the green light to start, there was a survey plan which should have been submitted to the Ministry of Lands. My state officer is telling me now that they hadn't yet sent it because they hadn't signed it off or something. I'm not 100% sure of the facts. But he's basically, what I understood was that there was an administrative gap that they had left. And then they needed to send that. Yeah, but today, yes, it was the first I was hearing of it when this happened. And of course, as a mayor, I will push many things, but I can't follow every single piece of documentation. That's why you have an administrative staff, and that's why you rely on them. That notwithstanding, even if there was a survey plan that should have been submitted that wasn't submitted, I would really expect to have been contacted. I would have expected a letter from the Ministry of Land saying, FCC, we see you've got a signboard out there saying DFID funded project, you are missing some of the documentation. Can you please make sure your documents are in order? What I wouldn't expect is for very expensive work, wall structures, the zinc pans, and not to mention the fact that this is one of our really important partners, and it says that DFID funded, and the people they spoke to explained. I wouldn't expect it to be damaged in this way. I'd have expected a professional approach to resolving whatever matter the Minister of Lands thinks that there is with this property. And let me just end by saying, when we were having these meetings, the issue at hand was that SLRA said it was a right of way. And we know that right of ways are just that, right of ways.
From there, I want to be an and go catch me. So you might catch me, I count me before you. And so they reach so now kick me. Now on my foot. Then now it mean I go on. Now ask me, would I say for like a walk now? And then nobody can stop ways. And I say, I'll be there yesterday. So I'll be there yesterday. And I talk say, well, would I send me for a walk now? So ain't go punish me, ain't go punish me. So from there, and not say, he asked me, say that gap, I say that go. Now go, why they go on? Me go in a shut off from front of me from again. This man ain't good this contract for do this roof. Don't do this roof for can this money. They work only. Then I show your man and can inside. When I can inside, me they don't me boss the up. Now as I say, hey, you can now I myself I want and left me back. Didn't tell them boss don't give me 700,000. If I lie per day, me picking the let them die before me or let me know it's a benefit. Now as I won't go, I go over the street, I see the lady who Sandy car with, when I can take me back, a go town. When later now they send me money, they send me back, I go meet why they tell them I do them go na do. Now they can't left the bag and I cannot defend the bag, I go see the bag that they got under. Open one scatter and this man I show me and say, scatter one nothing on the inside, then don't go the 700,000. If I lie per day, he left with them, but some Monday now work my money. We choose them all, then go 10. All we choose how they work with. I didn't take up again, scatter the wall. All team where would they work as workman, they all team. Then go with plain, sharpening stone, hammer, bar, then go with them. Look the panel there and don't pull out and go to the use. The bag is scatter.
Yes, it's scatter.
Okay, we don't hear the mayor, we don't hear the workman them. Mr. Shilon, sir, lawyer Shilon, this is what we face in Sierra Leone: abuse of power, corruption, and disrespect to the mayor time and time again. And it is so sickening. It is so appalling for Yeri. And this now people, the money na partner, we're sorry for we. Sorry at people, we're sorry for we for try for make, for let them able for developing partner them. Now the money, then cities in the money, now them take for go help we. But this we have honorable men that they call themselves honorable men. And time after time, especially this Mr. Sandy, they don't hear in misbehavior after misbehavior and after misbehavior. And the people that were put in a power, neither parliament is not speaking to this kind of behaviors. A whole bunch of money wasted because somebody feels saying I ain't get all the power in the world, or because in a minister, he go do what he do. Let pass on to you, sir. Let you go much power with you, see so.
Well, I just wonder if as minister, he get the right or the power, because I don't know which in power them be, but when I get the right or the power for bypass the legal system. If something they happen when no like the normal procedure, this is where they need forgive, or this is why they need forgive teeth to the law. The judges then forget the power for issue what you call injunction. Injunction now an order by the court for stop certain activities. And when you disobey that order, the court they should have the power, whether you're a minister or no matter whether you be, for issue an order for your arrest for contempt. The problem is a law is no good if you don't get enforcement power. You see, this is the problem. So if Mr. Sandy, they do what they say he do, just they do this vigilante kind of exercise of power, if you say, in getting new law besides the existing law in the country, this again is where the legal system need to get some teeth. And who gives that power to the judiciary? Now the legislature. And then for getting that power there, but the lawyer, the legal profession also needs to be in a position of reviewing anything here. I talk about the profession. That's what the Bar Association is.
Exactly.
Therefore, the student here, therefore the rights protest, therefore this make suggestion. But I'll tell you another thing too, where sometimes we tend to overlook. The office of Chief Justice, the office of Attorney General, these are two powerful positions.
Oh yeah.
They can make tremendous changes in the country just by virtue of their offices, because they get regulatory power where themselves can issue orders. For example, the Chief Justice, without going to Parliament, get powers for regulate prison rules and regulation. In order for go to Parliament for go get power for say, well, a prisoner for eat 3 times a day, a prisoner for sleep in a bed, a prisoner for this and that. But we tend for give up all the exercise of power there. Who doesn't say government, government, government. But who is government?
Yeah.
Government now, all the people that were in trust with all the various responsibilities here. So when I look at the office of Chief Justice, when I look at the office, like what would you complain about? So the Chief Justice, I'm sure get the power. The laws are there for order judges them, for say, listen, when people apply for injunctive relief, when I for issue an order, and if you issue an injunctive release order, then the person disobey him, he should be arrested. But unless we get to that, Mr. Sandy will continue to do as he's doing, because there is no repercussion, there is no price to be paid. Now, also, I would suggest that this is where the Bar Association can come in, go meet the Attorney General, bring up them point here, and say, listen, we're profession, we are all on the same side. This job, the legal profession calls for making sure that we make people that respect the laws. So here is a minister where they disobey the laws. So we ask you as part of the executive, for go to the president and tell the president and say, this doesn't look good for a country. This doesn't look good for we all. Because the trouble with that, these are some of the consequences. Who wants to invest in a country where there is no legal protection for your investment?
Okay.
So if they put where they put their money.
Let help you and let me pick up from this point. The Bar Association has suddenly become meaningless because they operate on partisan lines. You get, some of them belong to, this party, some of them belong to that party. So you don't get the unanimity. I can use 1 or 2 examples for them to pick up on this. We recall the Sam Sumana case. They know coming quick. But you know, me and you know, say there's something they call one habeas corpus. We get habeas corpus law. We get also what you call friend of the court brief. You know of that. Where where the bar association can use them, where they can able to fight any infractions of principles. They can do that for appear before people. Then you know, or actually call them something.
Amicus curiae.
Amicus curiae, something like that. Yeah. Friend of the court brief. You're then saying it. But all of it. So the problem with again, so the bar association also that part of it, because instead of they see themselves as one way they enhance and sustain the citizen and constitutional liberties, they see themselves more in the parties and that. So when you talk to a friend, but it's not going to work until they come back to they hold on to that the canon of that profession. So go ahead, sir.
Well, the trouble is the bar association, they need for, you see, they cannot make the bar association a social club. The bar association get for be a group that promotes the rule of law because everybody benefits.
Yes.
And they get wider ramification. If Salone is perceived as a country which is strong judiciary, as a country that enforces the rule of law, foreigners, foreign investors feel at ease to come to a country. But if the figures say the president or a minister is the rule of law, well, nobody wants to go to a country like that and invest thousands, let alone millions of dollars. So I do not know why. First of all, and I wish the mayor also was able to get the court for stop Mr. Sandy from doing that. At least try.
Yes, I recommend it.
At least try.
I did.
But Mr. Shillon, the damage has been done. Can't the mayor, because now the city belongs to the mayor, she's the head of the city, where they host the central government, the government. So can't the mayor go to court for Mr. Sandy for pay and put on a court because this is money from partners. And it does not look good for we country. It not look good. These are their citizen money. They where they don't raise money, take money for can help we because we say we want for transform. We say we want a new direction, but these people are acting so, and these are honorable men. They call themselves honorable men, but the behavior not go honorable men, and they're going unpunished time after time and time again, and nobody is saying nothing. The president is not saying nothing, because if me not been president, I see down there, right away it a losing job, because so many times, but then we have problem here too, we'll get for talk on in a little bit. We are social media this week flooded with SLPP members. One of them was the vice president of the women's SLPP, talking about they don't help for build the party, they don't help for campaign, they don't get that how you call them pre-coco or whatever I wanna call a law.
Yeah.
You know, where I do for you, you don't expect something in return. And they keep putting people, and we don't hear the ex-wife of the president don't talk say Minister of Transportation, then put her there because he do a favor. Because when you don't put men of merit and you talk of one word where you mean the talk of the integrity, the ethics, the things that when people then forget, you talk on that one day as lawyers and they forget that in everything that comes with a position as a minister, as an honorable man, for carry and get them display them thing and behave to the best. But we are not seeing it in Sierra Leone. What is wrong? Also, every time now army man then they call for what brutalize people then. What are the army there for? Is it not only for war or for in times of emergency? Why does every time ministers go use the army people them for go brutalize the citizens them? Poor people and they mind their business doing their job. I mean, let me pass on to you, sir. What do you think?
Well, there again, I blame the Bar Association because you're so right. The army not get any business for the enforce laws.
No.
Not to part of the job. That's what the police is for. So when you get army man, they go out there, they do the job of a police. Then that's crossing the line.
Mm-hmm.
But if you allow that to happen, that's how chaos they take place. And so I think it's in the president's best interest. To me, if I had anything to do with it, this is the kind of thing for bring up with the Bar Association, whoever they are. Okay, this goes across party line. We need let the president know, say, people they want to work for and they do so many wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
We need the president for no say, we are going to take, the members of the Bar Association or members of the bar, we not support that, we not agree with that, so we want to let you understand our position. Unless these kind of practices stop, we will go to court, regardless of whether the courts get the power or the ability or the mechanism for enforce whatever judgment it may arrive at. But this is not subtle, what we call subtle threat. But when then they do all that thing here, nobody know they say anything except ordinary citizens. Because they make a distinction now between the Bar Association, which is an association of educated professionals, then get more clout. The government will listen to them more than say the ordinary citizen. Well, like they're carpenter, they're masons there, they complain just now. They don't pay any attention to them because they're just ordinary people who don't have any power for do anything. But it's about time. This is some of the disappointment. The Bar Association cannot shift everything to government. They get the responsibility. And that part of that responsibility now for make sure, say, they watch the activities of government officials then. And this may be just, who knows? I don't know how the system is set up. The president may know about it. The president might not know about that. But unless they rein Mr. Sandy in, he will continue to do what he's doing. Unless they begin hearing the complaint coming from high places, they're not going to stop. If not the ordinary people are no more, they will just say, we need to pay attention to them.
We get calls, it's very possible to they calls and they didn't go.
Yeah, they must want to add for the top.
Yeah, they must ask. So
then
that's
we take the call on them.
First caller, who said the call from? Welcome to the show, please. Who said the call from? Which name?
Caller, you can turn down you see where they watch me from because they get
so that you can talk a bit loud. Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Caller, turn down you
caller, we not get that much time. Hello? Turn them down, or will you go to the next caller?
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, you're on the line. Yes, sir.
Okay. It appears they call from Maryland. How are they doing?
Thank God.
Yes. Okay. First, I will come on to Mr. Salone. Mr. Salone makes the one thing we see. There is no need for state of emergency. I disagree with that. There is a need for state of emergency in Sierra Leone. We get experience over the Ebola. The lack of state of emergency and late for declaring as Sierra Leone, where the incident will take place like Guinea, make this Ebola kill people then and free talk. United States, they're late for take action. They're late for declare state of emergency when the bill in China. That means, we lost a lot of people in there. So I disagree with Mr. Salone for saying there is no need for state of emergency. Now, the state of emergency they declare based on the medical things that we need the government to put in place. The state of emergency not cover a lot of things for the man, the commoners to these people and will know, The state of emergency is based on the medical thing for the corona. So there is a need for the state of emergency. I don't get experience with Ebola, let alone with this. Africa, lack of health education. If you are not trusting the people that they tell them, CDC, they kill them, and make a so fearful to them, they go come on the street. People that they begin go Guinea, go buy from a market. It's not that from a market, they bring corona, come and kill people there. they can't say with the declared state of emergency is too late at that time. So to me, state of emergency is actually in place at the right time. Now, would have been talk about the bar association. The bar association will be will not exist because bar association. On one day, people could only assist the member of parliament there, and then there are these then are law people that they do law. They all are member of the bar association. They all they run the law funded. So the thing not the function well. The mayor, if I go my course, but guess what? The mayor come out from another political party, while the government will be run now other political party, they all agree at all. They're not on that so. 2013, same similar thing happened at Kishi. They go broke the place there. The same APC mayor so today, new APC but same soldier there, they go broke people place there. So this is like the thing, the last time I talked to her, my parents didn't say them by name, but at the time I say, they will save the money like that, they don't pay them because the parliament know they exist, they don't do better things. People have been at that parliament today, from new parliament staff, anytime we go, they say, stand up, we stand up. You agree, yes, finish, you get paid 15 million or whatsoever.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's go to the other caller. We'll give Mr. Shilon time for answer. But before we go to the next caller, I want to make one point here. Whether last caller they say they don't for make state of emergency is right for make state of emergency, and Madam Hannah Bimansare response say it is an health emergency and not a state of emergency during Ebola. It says so not a state of emergency then we get. Now, then we do. It was an health emergency. So let's go to the other caller. We'll give Mr. Shilon time for answer. That caller there. Let we take 3 at a time. Let we give a chance for answer. Let's go to the other caller. Caller, what's your name, please? Good evening, and who's you call from?
Yes, this is Dan from New York. How you doing?
Yes, Mr. Dan. Go ahead.
Right.
What you get
With the angle, I think say the lawyer he don't explain all of the issues. Then very clearly they approach them where people in politics in Salone and listen to them very carefully. But the problem what they face again, this Mr. Sandia, and I wonder if this may wanna be man, then go to treat him. So that's number one. And number two, you see when you look at the lady's posture, she's petite in a little bit. If she was a big woman who gave that poise and can speak the way he's speaking, I think they will behave themselves. But anyway, moving forward, since in a public forum, so once we as citizens of the country want to send message to Sandy that we will catch up with him very soon. It's a matter of time. Because number one, they have no respect for the city. And it's unfortunate, sometimes they will come at the city. When we speak about certain people here in common at bush, then they take them personal. If man grow up in a bush mentality they get no matter what. Because when you look at some of their fellows there, so they were fortunate to get scholarship. True, say maybe the same APC government send them go abroad and study. Then come back from bush, who side them come out. They were not properly exposed. Even when they encounter the Western world, most of these guys are not exposed. So when they go after it, let's forget about the party business. So they talk about development. How do we develop this country? How do we work together? They have been disrespecting this mayor, and I agree with the lawyer. This mayor himself gets fault. Take these people to court. Let we go to the court system. Let the court system fail. It's nothing wrong with that. Then the public know that we are putting pressure. When they put pressure upon the mayor himself put pressure upon them. She don't have obligation to these people. They have obligation to the country. So I agree exactly the procedure and the pitch where this legal manner they give. I think to anything and do for they talk about, and we try for us and use them and encourage the mayor. If the mayor himself to listen to this, mayor go expect this mayor take these people to court. If you want to give you money, call we'll give you money. We will make contribution for you. Take them to court. Now that we want to see. So I think I'll leave it at this point for now.
Thank you so much, sir. This is not the voice of Salone. Everybody, the sound of every citizen has a right. And we are the caller from New York. Let's take one more. They'll give me Cecile on the platform again. The voice of Salone. Everybody, the sound of every citizen has a right. And we are the caller from New York. Let's take one more. They'll give me Cecile on the platform again. The voice of Salone. Caller, una the call, please. Una the watching for.
How are you?
Yes, good evening, sir. What's your name? Which are the call from, please?
Okay, they call from Freetown. Sorry, they call from New York.
Okay, yes, sir. Go ahead, please. What's your name?
Thank you so much, okay, for where you take me call. I guess few things them. First of all, I address that last call away say in a bushman them. Anyway, Mr. New Yorker, me a New Yorker just like you. And me a typical countryman, double countryman. And your language you get to watch what you talk in a public forum, okay? Not for everybody coming a bush when not civilized. Then we're not a Freetown. We know the one that way they toilet them they run. But they proud say they didn't have Freetown.
Okay, you get 3 minutes. You don't use 26 seconds.
That will go able to address them another time, okay? No problem. So you worry, I get offended. So, yes. So, Mr. Mohammed, thank you very much for where you analyze things then. The way you put all the structures them, everything there in place. Salone place, I don't know what we could do. Start from the Speaker of Parliament. Now under you see minority, they become a Speaker of Parliament. The Attorney General, the Chief Justice, then all the people where them functions them and then they run accordingly. I feel sorry for the mayor of Freetown, when a very hard working lady, where not to the first 10 days where people they take on them. And they fail for reality. Freetown now in the control them. They control it under a banner. But where we institution them so weak in a sense that from Parliament come to the Attorney General, come to the Chief Justice, and come to the parliamentarian then, nobody go to the bar association, don't all not corrupt guys then. They don't know their responsibility. So if any country there, where the institutions in there, they're not able to know their own responsibility, and I believe say anything to go forward there. Then somebody been say United States declare state of emergency. United States declare state of emergency, starting funding there, where they will be able to distribute them, where some of them people are ready to comment, so they already get that couple in their own pocket. Then for help them citizens then. Now for you able to make efforts how they will be able to do certain things them immediately. You understand? We are now where people and say state of emergency. Now for go box people and 5-gallon water where they don't already take water and put them down, and then for take another them oath, then people they not get access for drink to any drinking water. Before you tell them say take when I take them thing the ocular when I go now, instead when I the boss down 5-gallon water there, then water they run the street, then the people their effort all go in vain. Then I mean look offended. You know, as we say we institution them very poor. Like look what in the second lady been talk, the first lady been talk. Where they talk to anybody, then go hold them, then beat them, and say go left for you know, na Salone no more. I'm not an elected office in Holo.
Okay, your 3 minutes now up. Your 3 minutes now up. Sorry. When your 3 minutes up, would I give you a few more seconds, 10, 15 seconds for round up, and they don't pass that day. And now we go to Mr. Shilo. Mr. Shilo, you give the concerns of the callers. And what do you get for add or take away?
Well, unfortunately, the first caller, I know you read 95% of what he say. I did hear what he say and disagree with me, which in fact I appreciate, because I will hope people use on a forum for agree and disagree, and we hope say at the end of the day we'll go learn from each other.
Yeah.
I wish I be hearing the things the way he say why he disagree with me, but unfortunately I can't respond to that. But me take the position that people need to realize say a state of emergency is taking away powers from the citizen and giving almost absolute authority to one man, when he own in his discretion, things have to be done. So there are no checks and balances. So a state of emergency is something that should be given to the president after careful consideration, after deliberation, not to just out of emotions. So from that logical standpoint, from the fact that a state of emergency can be misused, I'm not saying that's what the president had in mind. I don't know what he had in mind. I don't know what he tell Parliament why he need the power, but I still take the position that Ebola, would compare Ebola to this corona, but not to the same, because Ebola, it originates from Uyo end, from Freetown end. So there was more need for the government in power for aggressively deal with the situation. But this coronavirus, it originates from China, heading here and going to Africa. And lucky for we just get the bottom end of the cases in a situation where in New York, we're talking about thousands of people dead, thousands of people infected. Now, if we had such situation back home, I could see the logic of a state of emergency if, in fact, there was inability to manage the situation. But from my perspective, with all due respect to the caller, I now see the need, we on circumstance as Sierra Leone, no call for a state of emergency. I think the president putting people in together for deal with the situation, able people who, and this is another thing. I also hope that with Ebola, with COVID-19, we back home will go begin for see, I talk about the authorities then, that we need people then with education and qualification in public health. You know, because that's vital. We don't wait until anything happens, then we want to try for remedy the situation, because then it's too late. We can foresee some of them things here. We need for train people in certain areas of health. You know, there is some degree of recklessness on the part of government. Yeah. Nobody who has lived abroad and you hold a cabinet position has an excuse. Me believe, say, when you go into government back home and you hold a responsible position, when you left, you should be able for sure, say, you make some progress in whatever area they may give you for manage. That's the only way we will progress. But you just don't go there, nor add anything to what you meet. In fact, go backwards, and then at the end of the day, we all the complain with a bunch of fingers at government. So me just hope say all them calamity here with the meet with, that some good will come out of it, because we're not to the last generation. As far as we know, the world which people get for exist millions of more years. So now with duty for safeguard this world with the Lord Almighty give we, you know. So this is what I'm saying. And the only profession I know of that can safely control this situation, not the legal profession. The courts are important. You know, the judiciary is important. So we get for take with people that within a law, we get for take things seriously. This is all I'm suggesting. And unfortunately, I don't know precisely what in the first call I say. So I'm unable to respond or to disagree or dispute anything we say.
Yeah, I may talk the other side and good, but I've been that state of emergency. He talk of the mayor, say the mayor for going to court, and you know, he talk on the way we didn't behave. He talk mostly, but it not been too clear, but he talk mostly, and on one side he disagree with you. And we been get the president of the new president of the Bar Association last year sometime where we been interviewing her, and he said they're ready for do them work. Then they do them work and then they want to make a difference. But we not yet anything where they don't do so far. You know, Professor, if I'm wrong, you come in there and help me out here. Okay. Because and when they say the Bar Association and the Attorney General's office, you know, the bar association for go to the other. This is, you get for go to the president because I ain't go speak, I ain't go be the in between the judiciary and the president. But it is not happening. And you, like you rightfully say, we don't sit down at the diaspora. We they do everything right according to the system here, and everything we're contributing, as most of us are good citizens, and we contribute for build up. But something happens when we leave the shores of the country here and go now we hometown Sierra Leone. And it's like nothing, and these people, some of them do know, but it's like nothing good is coming out of it. You know, you get a few good men and women among them, but majority of the time, there is no change. There is nothing that is happening that will give us hope, say, you know, we see a change, we see a drastic something for let we know say we move in the right direction, because the brutality, the everything else, the abuse of power, the fraud, waste and abuse, the corruption, the people, you know, like I say, that quid pro quo where we do, we don't get people of merit. We get people where we don't do me favor. And this is another thing I talked to Professor about, Salone, we discuss here. Because we have people, okay, we get 4 callers, don't finish this thought. We have people that contribute to elections. Oh, by other side, they have a cap. You cannot go past certain amount. But we have people in Sierra Leone, it's like the positions go to the highest bidders. Mm-hmm. And I want to all that thing there, we can't address that day, because is there a law in the constitution, or should they make that law? We're going to put a cap on contribution and campaign contribution for let them not say, you know, for favor other people, them among the people that will rightfully get the expertise for do the work for let push the country go before. But we get 4 callers, they don't take the caller, they don't give them chance, because like I always say, the voice of the people matter. And we know say that they listen to we, and we they forward everything to the world they do now. Yeah. So caller, good evening. What's your name and who say you call from, please?
Consensual Union from Australia. How are you?
Yes, good evening. Number 1, Consensual Union. Go ahead, sir. What do you get for we today?
Very interesting topic. I admire the knowledge where the lawyer actually display. I'm 100% agree with all what he is saying. The first place is the parliament for go actually vote in favor for give the state of emergency to the president. Then after which they don't do that, they expect the presidency or the executive branch for come back to them for can give the rules and regulations. That's exactly what you say was correct, that they put the cart before the horse. Because at the end of the day, you know go give the president the state of emergency, you know, advocate for the rules, now not argue on the rules on the ground on the state of emergency, where the limitations or not the limitations of the state of emergency. You don't not already grant that to the president. For make rules, now we don't make rules as to waiting the state of emergency for cover. We now not do that, now go give the state of emergency to the president. They expect that the president for can give now rules. We not already don't get the state of emergency. So any rules we throw at now we just get for take, because we don't put the cart before the horse. That's one point of the argument. The mayor is in Freetown is one of the most decent Sierra Leonean we admire, especially she being a woman of voice and substance. Sharp woman is very sharp and very articulate, and it make a very good submission for saying how umbula woman they say, and stop them make a mistake of not submitting the document to the minister. But does that justify the minister for can on the ground for can destroy the property or the bill or the NIPAN bill? That is absolutely wrong, and at that. I encourage that woman make you sue the ministry. If I sue the whole ministry to court, make that day on the social media. We want to see that display. Wherein them will tell the ministry, the judiciary, in fact, will tell the ministry, say, man, if they undercut with the job, because you know they take action into your hand. You they file a complaint to the court they make an injunction for stop the building. You know they carry the law into your hand, it means they do your job. That alone, they tell you, say, the judiciary not get the backbone. Country. That they tell you of complete negligence. They represent the people of Sierra Leone. This is now complete undercut of the work of the judiciary, where one man they take over and over in the country. That's my own take. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Concern. Thank you very much. Good morning to you over there in Australia. Let's go to the other caller, please. Caller, good evening. What's your name and who's you call we from? Hello, caller, good evening. What's your name? Who's you call from, please? Caller, good evening. What's your name and who's you call we from?
Yes, this is Bonwika Lamboy from Virginia.
Yes. Can you turn down your set or who's you listen with from, please? Because you're giving a feedback.
Yes, this is Bonwika from Virginia.
Yes, go ahead. Yes, please go ahead, ma'am. Can you turn down your set or who's you listen with from, please?
Yes, Miss Fatima, thank you very much. I'm really frustrated with the attitude and the disrespect towards the mayor. I pretty much have seen it, and it's really painful to see that. She is the few of a lot of the ministers in parliament and politicians that you see that genuine care about our country, that wants to make a difference. And you see yes, because she's a woman, but also it's more than her being a woman. She represents for us what you said, the frustration some of us have that wants to go home, that wants to help make the country better. But when you go through frustration and trying to do well and trying to do good and you get stopped and blockage, she is that example. What I'm trying to say tonight for those of us who wants to go home, who wants to go and help, look at her as your role model and see her not giving up. Because there is only way we're going to make Sierra Leone better is not to give up. Understand, Nelson Mandela, he was a lawyer, spent 25 years in jail. He did not give up. We can't say we are frustrated. 3 branches of government, doesn't exist in Sierra Leone. We have 3 branches. It's called SLPP, APC, and the others. They don't represent the people. Very few of them, good ones, few good men are among who wants to genuinely do. The only way we can make the difference for us in that country is not to give up. Those of us who want to make that difference cannot give up. And I'm 100%, the board association has to stand up for what is right. That's why we place them there. Those who can speak up for the young ones, the people who want to do right. We have to. VOS, you guys are doing that. You guys are doing this every week. I'm here. I'm listening to you guys. But every Sierra Leonean, please do not give up. Don't get frustrated. Look at Yvonne Sawyer as an example, as a model that she doesn't give up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was the voice of our sister here. She said it all. Let we not give up. Because if we give up, we're failing. And for a long time, a lot of us have given up. A lot of good Sierra Leoneans have given up. That's why we're stuck in the diaspora, because we have given up. We want to go, but sometimes, that woman shows strength. She shows so much strength and so much courage.
Please.
Yeah.
Who said the call from? Next caller, please. Who said the call from? What's your name?
Name Yamide. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do. We do.
Okay. So, I call from Maryland and I name Yamide.
Thank you.
Yamide, I call from Maryland.
Yes,
ma'am. Go ahead, please.
All right. So I get a little concerned with this coronavirus thing in Sierra Leone. Initially, where this thing started, it was just a day then test somebody and come back and say the person was positive. We all know say it takes a couple of days for make the results come back. Yeah. So are they really diagnosing coronavirus or they misdiagnosing people as usual? And if they are really doing coronavirus diagnosis, who slap them with and they run them test there? Waiting at the modalities then where they get in place just in case it's coronavirus. Africans are the strongest set of people. I haven't said that they get people that will get compromised immune system. So if the need should arise for oxygen, and other things. What are they doing? What's their plan? Also, when it comes to that man winning Mr. Sandy, I have a neighbor in Sierra Leone that is fighting for something that does not belong to him. The man boldly tell me, Ingo tell me, say, I didn't party in a power. That man is known for what he's doing, and they're not doing nothing about it. So when it comes to the coronavirus issue, though, do they have enough PPE? Waiting at them plans, waiting at them modalities? Because we all know, say, one person infected is equals to 20 people infected, even with the right things in place, where people can get all the PPE and then they do everything right. In the case of a country where we all know, say, the health system is not good, cross-contamination can infect everybody. What are they doing about it? What is the health minister doing? We don't have no ventilator that I know of in Sierra Leone.
No, they have
That's
13 according to and I not cut you. According to Washington Post, they have 13 because they did a Zoom conference call and they teach the people in a free tongue, the doctors and nurses, how for intubate and all that kind of thing, and they with the patient. They said they have, as the report of Washington Post, they have 13 ventilators and then you get 2 anesthesiologists, where one of them already gets coronavirus and the second one gets stroke. So like you say, what are in place?
That's very nice. Kudos to them if that's the truth, because we all know that if it comes to the worst, now the masses then go for suffer. So, you know.
Yeah, we did by God power right now, my sister. Thank you. We did by God power because guys now they never play no magic. First we did by the one that was sorry for we, and we did by God power. So we just they pray and hope. But we they talk for let them make the change for the next one. So finish your thoughts and let's go to the next caller, please. Yamide, are you still there?
I think you're done.
Okay, go ahead, Professor.
Next caller, please. What the name outside the call form?
Yeah, hello, VOS.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, this time I'm really called from Australia.
Okay.
Another Australian. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I want to tell you thank you for the courage I get in doing what they do. Let God bless you all day, the panel day.
God bless you all too. Thank you.
It's a sad reality we Sierra Leone and them face. For there we get people like Kande Ukela, where the international community hold at high esteem for Sidon, that Parliament Day, under sentiment, then go pass a health emergency bill just like that without even getting the details. Like where somebody say, I don't pass you the exam, then later I can't correct you. Now that then do so. It's a disgrace to we parliamentarians and now a disappointment to the people of Sierra Leone for votes them in, for let us sit down, for let we will get we government, for let we get checks and balances. And when it comes to the mayor in your side, I think say the mayor therefore use legal means with them people here. If at all, you know, get the justice we supposed to get na Salone Day, we can go na ECOWAS court and seek justice for whatever abuse when they abuse them and abuse the development we they try for do. Because it's a high time Sierra Leoneans they stand up. Because what they go on so we get for say no to that. These so-called bookworms, they don't fail with miserably in that country. And when I say somebody you are educated, your education for yield fruit for the common man. But there you now, the education they get, now for make let the common man go hungry. Now that then they do. So now that's for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's someone I get to say. Thank you so much.
Thank
Sorry
you so much, my brother. Can I go to Mr. Shilon, sir?
Doc, yes, sir.
Yes. To me, the Bar Association should be outraged with this kind of conduct on the part of a cabinet member, because much more is expected of him. if I set a brighter example, there is some degree of responsibility that goes with being a cabinet member. So you just cannot go out there and act as if you are some ordinary thug. So in fact, to me, that in and of itself is an embarrassment, not only to the current government, but even to the country. Because who can be proud of having a minister who goes out there and breaks down property? Two, I wonder if that in and of itself is not a crime. When you go, you engage in the destruction of property, I believe then get statutes back home. He shouldn't be above that. No. He should be charged with some criminal violation.
Exactly.
Even if they find him not guilty, because this is how you drive the point home. So the Bar Association, their feet should be held to the fire. It's their fault. They need to push the rule of law much more than they are doing. These are half-stepping what they do, and they contribute to the degree of lawlessness or being displayed by people in high places. That's a mere suggestion. And I agree with I think the second or the third caller. Those of when I would think say the mayor they do the right thing, and I think she is, because everybody seems to get high praises for her. What I get for encourage her, because sometimes, create and say, a heart not a bone. So the mayor, I'm sure it will reach moments of despondency where you go say, not to me papa get Salone, not to me daddy get Salone, I quit. So now we when a job, now everybody's job for encourager, for stay the cause, for say these situations will come up, or hang in there, as we can say in this country.
Well,
so now me your suggestion, and they would.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, Fatima, just before you came in, what you talked, so I don't know, and this morning, I really took the guy to task, and I intend for continue this tomorrow, taking the Bar Association to task, because these are all the things for example, they pull out a letter, the Secretary General pull out a letter, they try for later inject themselves inside fighting coronavirus. No, not to the end, for you guys are not medical people there. Not to do things like this way, Sandidu, these are the areas una for address. Not to go be address coronavirus. No. You guys are not medical doctors. Una are the bastion of the constitutional liberties and the law. And these laws have been broken, with reckless abandon. So these are the things that who expected the guys were. But thank you so much for that. I say I've been addressed this morning, but I will re-address that tomorrow. And the particular aim will be at the clueless and aimless Bar Association. So back to you, Fatima.
Thank you. I just want to bring where one of the callers from Maryland, they ask what in they get and all that. And we brought Arun Zubairu. I just saw it, I lost it. Okay, Arun Zubairu say we have 15 ambulatory bags in the entire country and 3 oxygen concentrators. Wow, we get for work, forget more. Like I say, we there at the mercy of God. Everybody there at the mercy of God. But Obaya, they will try say, we did our best, but we did all we could. But Obayanda, they not get chance for fight for the person. And these are the things where they talk about the corruption inside the country, the things that when they do, the overbounds of everybody. The one side they walk, the other side not they walk. The one side dominates all, the other side them, and it is just like they go with the flow. For the longest time, they pass baton from APC, SLPP, APC, the same thing. 58 years coming on 59 years in a few, another week or so. The same, no improvement, and and we see another stuff, sir. When the mayor is like they sabotaging again the mayor, we see a video somewhere in Lumley, and then put out a thing out there just now. We say it was just a sabotage because a retaliation because the mayor stopped an illegal site where they give permission. The Minister of Lands gave permission to build on an illegal site. Who side the water they pass? Who side big gutter they? The mayor they try for flooding in Freetown. They clean all them drainage. We don't see them for 50 almost here. Nobody not clean them. They pull all them dirty. We see the work when they work. They have partners, them outside where they help, where they fund them things here. And then the same Minister of Lands, the same ministry give permission for build over a gutter. I think we get that video they we put on there and they will try for round up and you know they build this thing over there and the mayor go there and like I said, this is a woman of courage. You know, if not some power we don't give up because it is not that because like how you know another rightfully say not to me papa get Salone, I tire yourself, you know, and some of we get mental health problem, not able too much stress, you know. And she stood there and was talking about it, say, I don't tell them, I don't care first, I don't stop them, then come back, then show me permit, say, the Minister of Ministry of Land give them permission for bill. When I say, let's play that video, they quick, let Mr. Shilon see this is the corruption, and they know they're doing the wrong thing, but they continue to do the wrong thing. How is this the new direction that President Bio make for? We when a person in a cabinet, they behave in kind of way as so.
I make this recording. A day now, na Lumley, and this now under the bridge, where then they call that place, where they say na Fawaz. As you can see, they don't people then they build. This issue we don't come up a month ago. I send the Met to let them broke the structure, but yet today they don't begin back. And when I call, they send police to protect the work. This na disaster. I want let people then see say, yeah, now the waterway, where even right now, you see the dirty we don't get an aya. This na part of what we can get for do. As this is not a mouth thing. This is my. This na part of the dirty where we can get for gather and the flood mitigation. So just imagine now, Nayana the waterway, Naya water get for pass, and then the water get for pass through then channel there, and now posting saying get permit. When I call, the LUC say it get the papers, me self request the papers, and I want for let Bamboo then no say this not right. You cannot get building permits for build under a bridge on top water side. Now this they cause disaster now we city.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Mr. Shilon, you are pick up very quickly. You come look at the legal ramifications.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me talk about the political aspect of this. You know, when you do now a system, within a system where everything the whole system now don't collapse. There's no law and order. You don't break. These are the things that we will see. The logic of lawlessness. A place with an animal farm mentality. A free-for-all mentality. A jungle mentality. One time, Mr. Trump used a very bad word on Africans. We are all angry. But what people may fail to realize, they not look at the Trump from the genesis to the ramifications. What they did, they just look at it from the they just take a from the context. They perhaps they look at from a pejorative, aspect of them. They don't give themselves that much needed breaks. Okay, John Lekudi talker. How we will get a society where the mayor is the elected chief executive of the municipality of Freetown. He get a lot of authority over the ministers. They get for understand. There are certain things in order within their own jurisdiction, they simply cannot do it in order that a jurisdiction. But also, I mean, more even assume they want exercise some ministerial authority. You get what you call collegiality, teamwork. There has to be a team. Because the creator, when you look at the pecking order of precedence, after the president, the next person, anybody will tell you that the mayor, when you look the order of precedence, after the president, the next person is the mayor. The mayor is entitled to respect the office as a matter of fact. But this mayor has been subjected to all kind of activity. She's been attacked. She's been abused. She's been in. So this way they see so that this we call the climax of series of indignities being perpetrated against the mayor. So down the road, but this is again where the parliament comes in. Where is the parliament? They are all complicit in it here. Oh, this is the logic of lawlessness. We don't actually grip the political firmament of the nation. This is the reason why Salone go from the pedestal of grace to the abyss of irrelevance, simply because we don't embrace lawlessness as the modus operandi. So see if you can kick in the law inside this.
Well, first of all, I don't know. What did they try for bill? Is it a building? What are they building?
For what is somebody have put building in a passage, a waterway passage? Can you imagine? Very because of all the environmental impacts and all that thing.
It's hard for me to even understand why such lawlessness will be encouraged and continue to go on. But my suggestion is plain and simple. If, first of all, the police are being encouraged to be lawless, because the police and where they go there, where they go try for enforce the continuation of building at this site, I wonder who's going to get the orders from.
Seriously.
Maybe the association again, because I'm going to keep holding the feet of the bar association to the fire. They should be the one to sound the alarm bell. They don't have maybe a legislative power, but they get a large microphone. They get a megaphone. And when they talk as a group, the government will listen. So this is the key. So first of all, it's time to start criticizing and verbally going against the police officers, the way they come for enforce such lawlessness. Where do they take their orders from? Maybe it's about time the Bar Association start pushing for some police officers to be charged with lawlessness, with criminality. You see, because the only way we as people, when I say we, I mean human beings, we always go get a tendency for, not for compliance, a tendency of non-compliance.
Right.
Now, by example, they make we the comply. When you drive down the highway, we all want for speed. But one of the reasons we make you to slow down, now because you know, say, there's a high likelihood you can be stopped or you get a price to be paid. But people will always test the system. And running a government is not easy. Those challenges are going to come up. The courts are going to stay busy. The lawyers have to be creative. The lawyers have to know when maybe they're not familiar with that kind of lawsuit there. It's about time they begin to take things to court. You know, push for Mr. Sandy to be charged with a crime. Then go after him on a civil side for damages to property. I mean, just the lawyers have to be creative for make sure say people know that they are on their side.
True.
Because that's their job. That's what makes the profession what it is. You know, I mean, what people don't realize, me and you today would fly in a safer plane, would eat safer food, factories are being pressured to make sure, say, the work environment is safe for employees, all because of the fact that companies know they can be sued. There are lawyers who will take those cases just because people know there's a price to be paid. Unless the legal profession back home gets a little bit aggressive, you know, things are not going to work out the way people expect. But there should be young lawyers now, the Bar Association. And another thing the Bar Association needs to do back home, which is not part of the process as yet, but it's way past due. We now will get what you call pro bono work. I mean, a lot of successful big firms, successful lawyers, when they take so much of free cases every year because on our one for make una need to contribution to the development of the country.
True.
So it's about time I don't know whether the city of Freetown get a legal department, but now, even when you get a legal department, when I can turn around and hire a private firm for file a lawsuit, them family they can do it for free. They might ask for a nominal fee, but we get for Salone now, they get for getting to them creative kind of situation in the legal profession. But then they go help the government too, because the parliamentarians then get in your agenda. But we own job as lawyers now for help the judicial system for work efficiently. And I will hope the Bar Association begin to take some innovative approaches to the status quo of the country.
So well said, yeah.
Thank you very much. So this is something that we need to know, because we the people, we don't know. And some of the rights we don't know as citizens, waiting are we right, waiting are we on part for play. How we go do it, we don't hear what in the lawyer they go do, we don't hear what in the parliamentarian they go do. But now, Mr. Shillong said, what as us as citizens, as Sierra Leoneans, waiting are we the people of Sierra Leone. Now we put them people the name power. Now we entrust power into our representatives, them in parliament and all that kind of thing in there. Waiting we own rights as Sierra Leoneans. As I am a citizen, even though I'm not in the diaspora, but what are my rights? And the one that we did that the ground, what are we rights? For let we understand we right, because if we understand we right, I believe say there will be change. And for let you know, knowledge is power, and a lot of people don't know, because something don't be the norm for a long time. Even though it's wrong, but we think it's okay, and it is not okay, and it is not right. But we think it is the norm, therefore we go with it. So, oh, na so team, na so then they do up. Oh, na so then nothing, they change. No, things can change if we understand. So, what in are we all right? What in the law, under the law, on what in the guidance and we as citizens get for tell the government, say, Papa, government, what you do so in all right? What in are we rights themselves? Because we want to let people know this is civics class today. Let we understand, let we left party business, let we talk country first. Go ahead, sir.
Well, you know, the thing we're good about a constitution, although we not quite understand them, back as it's supposed to be understood, and I want to say we, I didn't even talk about the legal profession. Most of the lawyers in developing countries do not realize, say, a constitution is different from statutory law, laws passed by parliament, passed by statute. The Constitution is the main law of the land.
Yeah,
there's a thing called constitutional law.
Yeah, the Supreme.
Constitution itself. Constitution, under the old common law doctrine, parliament is above the law. Under a constitutional system of government, the Constitution is supreme.
Exactly.
Parliament is subject to the Constitution.
Sublima.
So as basic as that sound, we not seem to know the distinction as yet back home. So when we draw Constitution, we end up drawing a 100, 200 page Constitution. But the Constitution is a framework. You know, so a lot of things will end up in the statutory books, they end up in the Constitution. But a Constitution is a set of rules prohibiting the government for engaging certain conduct. Constitution is mostly for restraining the power of government, not the people. But we, the constituent, the other way around. We think the Constitution is for control people and activity. No, not for control the excesses of government. Now for say what in government cannot do and what in government can do. So if we understand that basic rule there, we can able to proceed. So the people, the way the Constitution right in Sierra Leone is half and half. Because some things then they were missing in the Constitution, one of them did it. Because enough for be part of the Constitution. Things because some of them they for just be laws passed by parliament or city ordinances. Now those things shouldn't be in the Constitution. Then there are certain things like the right to life, the right to liberty, you know, protection of property. These should be enshrined in the Constitution because these are basic human rights. You know, So these are some of the things that we need to get in place, where people are not really realize. So the hope say, we're brothers and sisters there, to whom this great responsibility is entrusted, to craft laws for the country, to try for promote fairness and justice in the country, should have good understanding of the purpose of the law and what the law or the Constitution is supposed to be. Because it's clear to me that a lot of things we just take for granted. And there is a big mistake. Sierra Leone of today is not the Sierra Leone of the past. Sierra Leone is a constitutional government. Everything has to be within the framework of the Constitution. So this is not a common law jurisdiction. And then get some kind of a strange laws then in Sierra Leone. For example, they get a situation where, okay, if you violate somebody in constitutional right, it can raise down the district court, high court, federal court. But Sierra Leone, they can write the Constitution and say all matters involving constitutional issue, now the Supreme Court get original jurisdiction. I find that to be very awkward. So if you violate my constitutional right, I cannot raise that until I reach the Supreme Court. What if I don't have the means to hire a lawyer to take me all the way to the Supreme Court? So that right can never be protected, because then give original jurisdiction to the Supreme Court of the state of Sierra Leone, which I find to be, I think every citizen should be able to address violation of the constitutional right from the first court, from magistrate court to high court. They should be able to raise the constitutional right at every level. But the Constitution of Sierra Leone say only the Supreme Court get original jurisdiction for deal with matters. It makes no sense to me, but that's how it's written. There are a lot of things we need to go back and revisit and redo for reestablish an efficient legal system in the country.
So this is the importance of the Magna Carta you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, so we don't come to 2 hours. I know say we don't hold you for long, but we will bring you come another time.
I'm good.
Oh, you good? Oh, okay. Well, I'll go small bit more. We get caller on the line, right? Back there. We give with people the chance for let them ask them question or make them comments.
But let them make a brief because the man get for work tomorrow morning. I mean, you have to get a lot of clients for deal with.
Yeah, we get 4 callers. Them caller, good evening. What's your name, please? Who's the call from?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Bendu. I call from Kansas City.
Yes, Miss Bendu, my sister. Go ahead, ma'am. What do you have for us tonight?
Yes.
The guest.
Well, to start with, me just believe say all the system them broken up now, Salone. Especially this time, waiting they go on when we want to address tonight when at the healthcare system. For Kenema District, waiting I see on Facebook, looking back, I see ambulance service will go pick one of the people that wouldn't say get corona. If not the same ambulance, this when they expected to go pick sick man, well, that sick man they not get a chance. We go say that for free. I don't know whether they get ambulance for the poor man them or they get ambulance for gentleman them. I mean that I want to know because waiting I see that Monday before rather sit down on top Okada and pass and spread the disease. Worse than waiting them being therefore put her inside for call an ambulance. And another thing where me as a healthcare person in South America, I want to talk to the healthcare people in a Salone. If somebody's sick already, he need all the encouragement, he need all the pampering where he go get. Waiting I see how the healthcare people then they deal with that Monday where they go take say that they can go some side for treatment or for quarantine. Now the worst treatment and the way any human being will get. So me they appeal to we people then where they in the healthcare sector, let them go back and reconsider how they deal with their fellow human beings. It's not to be desired. And the appeal to Ministry of Health. and they appeal to the government. Let them get mercy on the people them. That's very sad what I see. Now me on take that the way I get. I just beg them. Let them go easy on people them. If they get for help them, let them give the help what they need, not to for abuse them. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Madam Bendu. Brief and to the point. We're at the mercy of them and professionalism. That's what we're talking about here. Ethics. Let me go to the next caller, please. Good evening, caller. What's your name? Where you call from?
Next caller, please. Where you call from?
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. What's your name, please? Where you call from? Go ahead.
Yes. My name is Edward Mara. I'm calling from Philadelphia.
Yes, Mr. Mara, go ahead, my brother. What do you have for us?
Okay. First of all, I want to commend on all at the studio. This is now one major part of nation building when I do so. I wonder if Voice of Salone Day, all the issues there will come up so for me know not so then for the past and the country Salone will we like broke down and continue for broke down, but I want to commend on keep up the good job. Tonight, I want to talk about the misappropriation where they go on. I mean, when it's in terms of like the Ministry of Lands and the City Council. Okay. First of all, Mother Bill, now I'm not able to solve this problem because this don't go on for too long. Then they continue to sabotage the woman all the time. Look, okay, for example, that's somebody who want build Bafayanda. Mostly that for sell junks or something like that. They're afraid for your own life force. Then they involve the police. Like Dr. Sandy, I get so much respect for him. I wonder how come this they happen. But somebody can use it and say, oh, Dr. Sandy gave me permit and all that. So we investigate that first. Because that guy, they expect much from him. You know what I mean? And I don't think say a give permit for do that because anybody with common sense, how we go live in a place like that? So like I say, the president needs to solve this problem because if you tell them say this woman don't pull up a party line, now get the city, now they take care of the city. Okay, now we support. Who's minister then we go undermine them because say it will get fired. So now we put out behind the president. Let the president help the woman accomplish and goal. This is not party business. Are they really sorry for that woman? They need help. That will pull party politics and they just understand say when strangers they come outside now free tongue they come first. Let's see all that today. It's not done. Please let we help that woman. Let we raise our voice. Let government hear we and let the president put a stop to the people who sabotage him. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mara. Thank you very much. Next caller, please. Good evening. What's your name? Where you call from? Hello. Good evening. What's your name? Where you call from, please?
Yes. How are you? My name is Ezekiel. I call from Missouri.
Okay, Ezekiel. Can you turn down your set, please? Because they give feedback and logo you fine. Go ahead. Sir.
All right. Okay. You did get me clear now?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay. I want to thank you very much for the deliberations, and I want to thank particularly we look legal luminary with there among them. Well, from everything I don't follow, I don't listen from when I start. This don't show clearly that when we talk about corruption, we not only for limit time to monetary fraud or how people and the misuse we country couple, but this not some thing that they damage where corruption they cause now a nation where go there for decades for able to correct that kind of situation. Waiting I mean here exactly now this. There has been, this don't come out clearly for sure that there has been total institutional failure in all aspects, and you go see that when corruption don't endemic like a nation, all institutions, credible institutions, we're supposed to stand up for fight on the side of the law for the ordinary people. They all will be compromised. And once they are all compromised, what thing you will see happen, they will all remain silent, and this they fail to understand. And they tell a lot on their integrity. Even themselves as citizens, like when my sister Yanda talk, so most fans they don't can live that abroad. They know the standards. We're supposed to operate in their own country. Then did it. But because corruption, they don't buy into corruption over decades. This fight against corruption, I will tell the whole nation that it is not stopping with Mother Bill. And we must move our head a little bit beyond financial misappropriation. Let me look at how with institutions, civil rights organizations, we don't be compromised and things don't happen over that country decades. Nobody talks about it. Now you guys are not doing at the parliament. They cannot talk about it. The judiciary, they all know these things. But because they have all been bought into corruption over decades, so you see how these things are protect we all for fighting fights. This is not Mother Bill's fight alone. And perhaps when you talk about the corruption, normally they look at the financial aspect. But maybe always a complaint now, a different forum and social media that this corruption at Salone is beyond financial misappropriation. Let me look at attitudes. Let me look at how these things don't damage your behaviors. With thinking ability, people that don't think say they cannot survive without these bribes. And the past regime then this is what they do. When this president wants to let this institution then inside, he bribes them. And when they don't bribe them, everything they collapse. They know the thing, everything where the lawyer is talking about. All the lawyers at Salone are the Bar Association for one. They know. But who dares to bear the cat? Because they are all involved. So this is your point where at the top. This is one of the damages. In fact, extensive damage where corruption is caused by a nation, where it will be difficult for repair. Now not look at the financial side. Now look at how it does damage the institution. And this goes from generation to generation. If we all not stand up now at this time for pick up this fight. I want to thank you all very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir.
We don't take one last call. For some of for me, they can give you information. Don't take one more call. Then Mr. Shino will, wrap up for me.
Hello?
Okay, the last lucky caller with the Gidi Bunyana, you get the last one. Say your piece. What are you take on tonight? What you get for the lawyer, the learned man among us? What you get for the discourse about the conversation?
And after that, then he can give closing remarks.
All right. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello? Yeah, my name is Mike. RDC Seattle, Washington. So just quick one.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to say we get to be very careful with information, how they disseminate information, especially when we're on them online streaming media, yeah, because a lot of things say it's just untrue. I don't want to really mention about within the mayor whole thing because my concentration right now on COVID. We know see the mayor in office, one of the district council office, they under the Ministry of Local Government and the Ministry of Lands. So whatever they go on, I don't have the facts to it. But what thing I want to talk about here is about the mention we mentioned is Sierra Leone just gets somebody mentioned Arun Zubai will say how Sierra Leone gets how many ventilators, how many nebulizers. That's all untrue. People need to forget facts because then facts matters, facts heals, facts kills. All at the same Arun Zubai will be talk say Corona not the Sierra Leone. Every video said Corona not the Sierra Leone. That was very misleading. And at the same Arun Zubai back the talk say they're not getting one ventilator this alone. So now we be careful how they disseminate information. Now we be careful. As I know, we get 13 ventilators in Sierra Leone. We get other hospitals where the Lebanese committee the established in Sierra Leone. We get like about 9 ventilators then just don't start them. And we'll not even get any patients will get acute conditioning. All weak conditions them all they get they are stable clinically, then they're able to breathe on their own. They don't even need any like real supportive treatments. Then just mend them for what? Minor ailments and then they go back home. So we for the look at what in government they do and give kudos to them and praise them. This is a time where no country know the way to get COVID right. No country. Even America, the great America, they're shut with supplies. No country know the way to get COVID right. So if we
With COVID starting at the whole world, it took 120 days for now to get the first index case in our country, and because of the measures that the government put in place. Of course, there are lapses. There's lapses in supervision. There's lapses in contact tracing. We need to do more testing. We need to do more vigilance in individual community tracing. But, I mean, we can't just be out there just bashing everything they are doing. Then where is the motivation? Where other countries, then they clap for the health workers, then they sing for them, then they look like the concert yesterday, the stay-home concerts when I call them, they're all over the world. They were present healthcare workers. But we Sierra Leoneans, we just go out, we bash our health workers, we bash the government, we bash everything they do. This is counterproductive. All what we want to tell people them out there is it's difficult times out there for people that are Sierra Leone. This is a time when we support them for the give them courage, time when for the support them individually, and time when for the give them information, factual information, we're evidence-based, we're scientific-based, not information based on real opinion or real subjective knowing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And stay on the line for a second. I don't know if you've been there from the beginning of the show. And I talk, say, Washington Post, and this is according to Washington Post. Washington Post put a video out there, but because of the rights and all that stuff, then they will not let Facebook not put this out information out and block me and all that, because we not get things. So we very be careful. But I talk on them, say, we have doctors from Baltimore thing, and waiting Sierra Leone get at hand. They said the whole country gets 13 ventilators. And this was last Sunday, according to Washington Post, and I put her out there. And then they say we get 2 anesthesiologists. One has coronavirus, the other one. Okay, I mean, we talk on the good. We talk all the good in the beginning. But this is a Sierra Leonean, and I read in comments because somebody asked if we get the question. So I put her out there. I read them, say this is the thing that the person say. So thank you for your comment and your contribution. But we are not just all here to bash. We give praise where praise is due, and we talk on the phone for try for fix them, for let we come out who shall we day. So next time, if this can catch me, because I can always say, President Bio not get magic right now. This government not get magic for fix nothing. We're broken right now. Then they do no more the AFAF with the scramble, and we're then at the mercy of God. And even the one that we get saved, they're all then at the mercy of God right now. So let we go. Thank you so much there. Thank you. I just want to make that point to you. Yeah. But now we pass on to we guest at the studio.
Yeah, sum up now. You close your remarks.
We pass on to Mr. Shilon. We thank you so much for coming. And you know, on our invitation for can teach with people, because we get for know these things, and if we don't know them, we lost. We don't know we right. We don't know we aid from hotel. We don't know how they go. So you don't can give me. So thank you. But what you are round up and what you are left with the people and then talk to the government.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes,
Which is me get for say first of all 1 or 2 things. Some people then say, the mayor in Freetown, people, then they victimize them, then they try for ostracize them. Well, to me, it sounds like what you try for cut your nose for spite your face. The Freetown, now the capital. Now we show case that one day. So whoever is in charge, I don't see the sense in trying for counter that person, they move where they try for make the place healthy and more livable. So, and then what people in the suggest say, well, President Bio need for be involved. Well, let's give him benefit of the doubt. Let we, for the moment, say he may not know about what's in the gone, or even though there may be indication that he does. But let me get the benefit of the doubt. What you mean to suggest, again, the most efficient, practical way of doing this, one will therefore reconstitute city government. The city government has to have legal department if they don't already have that. And that legal department, they forget litigation department, they forget the, several sections for deal with then kind of legal issues here. 2, like I suggest, the Bar Association has a role to play because of the nature of the profession. The profession has always been involved in the change of society for the better. So, with that said, I hope what we could take from here, and I'm very impressed with the nature of the calls. People seem to be very appreciative of what is being broadcast to them. And we hope, say, people go hear some of the things we will say and put a lot of pressure on the people in back home. And for brothers and sisters in within IR, some of whom are very eager to go back home and get in the art of politics, please, my suggestion is, like President Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what can you do for your country. If you have nothing to contribute, if you don't have to go home and join politics and make meaningful change, no matter how little the step, then you have no business going home involving in politics. I mean, home now you home. You can go there in retirement and stay away from government. But for those who have ambition to go home and become parliamentarians and serve in government positions, please they appeal to one. Now go there for enrich yourself. Go there because you can make a meaningful contribution. Now when we're all pitching, the country will see a better light. But if we all criticize, then we're not to take ideas, we're not to take principles, we're not to take a discipline back home, the country would always lag behind. That's what I got to say.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. And Miguel, forgive me, last word. Like I say, we don't hear waiting and say, we don't hear waiting. We learned lawyer don't can teach we today because we know we get for them the law and the law not they work for the people. And who that they lost by all them here where everybody they silent and the people of Sierra Leone, the citizens of Sierra Leone, now in the loss. So we they talk because we want the government here. We don't make suggestion. I don't hear the man, the bar association get a role for play. The Attorney General office get a role for play. For let change go come. We don't hear all that. We don't hear the role of the parliament. We don't see now. We don't know say they put the cat before the horse instead of the other way around. They therefore do things right. If they do things right, change will come. But until then, the struggle continues unabated. But we still hopeful. Coronavirus. They now all over the world, like the governments, they say, like the people that were in charge, they say, on a mask up, because that social distancing it go act for practice in Africa. Because we they see we overcrowded markets, we they see waiting and call, no go na do if you don't get nothing for go to do. Una follow the orders. Then others and they will then put now for keep me life, now for keep you life, now for keep your neighbor alive. Because we no one sick. We see how the coronavirus inside America. We have 4 or 5 people who don't die this week of coronavirus. They all in a healthcare waiting and concept. We get some rights now where gets the coronavirus. We're positive and whether they fight for their life. So it is a serious business. Do your part. That's all we ask. Do your part. If I mask up, I wash my hands, I keep my distance, and they do them for you. If you self do the same, you do them for me. So let we do them for we safe. Let we do them for we Mama Salone. Let we do them for we own life. So we're able to live for Cedar Salone where we all the dream of that dream where Martin Luther King say, I have a dream. We self have a dream for Sierra Leone. This is why we are here. This is why people in the camp for can get their expertise, for can educate we, for can try for influence we. Let we change we mind. Let we change we mind. So till next time, I'm me Fadima. They say good night. I left all na God and by the grace of God, we don't know what tomorrow holds. But let us enjoy today because life is happening now. And let we embrace what you get. Love the people around you. Love the people that matter. Forgive who you get for forgive because you don't know the next second you step out of your house, waiting to go meet today, waiting to go we all day by the grace of God. So like I can say, if I they shine today, not jealous me, go work on yourself. Tomorrow, the sun will shine by you, the cloud will pass over me. Go give a hug, go give kind words, go help somebody. Well, no, don't give a hug this time. Maybe only your loved ones, only your children at home or whatever, or your husband. But, don't give that hug, keep that distance. But kind words, And I love you all, and remember, God is love. Till next week, we'll come back with another edition by the grace of God. I left we all not God and let God help we, let God clear the sick. I love you all. Good night. and God is love. Thank you, Professor Sir.
Mr. Shilong, what I want to thank you. I want to thank you very sincerely from the very deep roots of my own being for where you take your precious time for Canada. But more so, where you even follow me in a Salone forum and the comments, then where you I really appreciative of this. I can't see how you don't can give expertise in that. What you can do today, you enlighten we a lot. You make we learn a lot of things there. Especially in some of the week, you only talk about governance and all that. I see the distinction that we draw, and you talk especially on constitution because may you agree say constitution, now the bedrock, now in the thing the blue way hold the country, now the basis so talk say country, as soon as you say country, now because that thing now in the basis, now made that society they function. So gladly we don't can't talk about all that. I also, on behalf of my colleague, and one issue is standing invitation. So I want them who jobs will call you for they come help you, your expertise. Which, what I must say, your performance that today is really consistently good to excellent. You really, talk a man we actually get a gravitas so he can explain. Me personally, I enjoy everything. Now this kind of a discussion where we come, you come so that we call us or we listeners or we audience don't say well, the person the man if you know and I'm glad the sort of respect again when they put by all this now because of the scholarship we project at the place. Me personally are very enamored of what you do. And I want to again thank you very sincerely from the very deep roots of my humble being. And this now will just it's very possible to say from time to time we'll call you, local talk, very different things then. And also I want to call my colleagues them and the station and everything. Make this place your own. Just feel free at all times to call we. You get some issues the way this you have don't just know by God power will make your time. So I also want for lately transmit the expression of esteem and best wishes to the family. We don't actually you for this, up to all here by now. For telling thank you. This lesson I new contribution is you're like we could Kennedy just to say no actually the country will do. But this time they do now your contribution is so they give back to Salone. We're really glad. So let God bless you for this. The co-Kidina Oku say other altruisa and you know so walk common Oku community. So other altruisa.
Order to you, sir.
Good night, sir. Thank you so much. And you got your wife for me. She's my schoolmate. She's my schoolmate, Esther Fidel. Thank you.
Yeah, she was excited to see you. Okay,
I know. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And get
the sick, fear has grieved the heart of each inhabitant to forget the virus. Thousands of lives have been lost. Graveyard is full of competent, talented figures. We are all lost. We don't know what to do to get the cure. God see us through. Others are crying, see their children dying. But all is not lost. God, we put our trust in you. We are saying to you, COVID-19 cannot defeat us. Heal the world, heal the world. Jehovah, we losing too many souls. Heal the world, heal the world. Your love is getting out of control. Your love, save your people, save the world. Jehovah. hands regular. Abstain from being a mingler. Accept isolation until there is solution. Avoid public gathering. Let's keep it from spreading. Oh my people, let's take precautions. It's time to wage war against every virus or any outbreak affecting our lives. We are stronger with God. We are mightier. Yahweh. We are warriors and we always conquer. Heal the world, heal the world. Jehovah, we losing too many souls. Heal the world, heal the world. Ya Allah, it's getting out of control. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, save your people, save the world. Jehovah, Jehovah, save your people, save the world. The world's hurting, people are searching for hope. Baba, he left to you. Families they die, friends and loved ones them. The one they cry, Yahweh, he left to you. We are praying for solution, we are praying for redemption. It's time to be one like never before. Creating us your right spirit, restore to us the joy of your salvation. Heal the world, heal the world. Jehovah, we losing too many souls. Heal the world, heal the world. Ya Allah, it's getting out of control. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, save your people, save the world. Jehovah, Jehovah, save your people, save the world. Heal the world, heal the world. Restore Africa, restore America. Heal the world, heal the world. Restore Australia, restore Asia. Heal the world, heal the world. Restore Europe, save the world. Heal the world, heal the world. Heal the world, heal the world. The world is sick, fear has grieved the heart of its inhabitants over the virus. Thousands of lives have been lost. Graveyard is full of competent, talented figures. We are all lost. We don't know what to do to get the cure that see us through. Others are crying, see their children dying. But all is not lost. God, we put our trust in you. We are saying to you, COVID-19 cannot defeat us. Heal the world, heal the world. Jehovah, we losing too many souls. Heal the world, heal the world. Ya Allah, it's getting out of control. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, save your people, save the world. Jehovah, Jehovah, save your people, save the world. Wash your hands regular, abstain from being a mingler. Accept isolation until there is solution. Avoid public gathering, let's keep it from spreading. Oh my people, let's take precautions. It's time to wage war against every virus or any outbreak affecting our lives. We are stronger with God. We are mightier. Yahweh. We are warriors, and we always conquer. Heal the world, heal the world. Jehovah, we losing too many souls. Heal the world, heal the world. Ya Allah, it's getting out of control. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, save your people, save